Hey guys, Rusty here. How you all doing? You okay? I'm doing a video today on it's a beginner's guide. It's not a beginner's guide for Ken. It's not a beginner's guide to combos. It is a beginner's guide to Street Fighter 5. So I've been getting a number of people asking me, and it's no problem. I don't mind at all. A number of people asking me. I'm stuck in bronze. How do I get better at Street Fighter 5? So it's a common question I get asked. I was in the situation myself many moons ago, and the bottom line is it's a number of things. When this video isn't rehearsed, it's going to be a long video, but if you are keen to get better, it's maybe worthwhile you watching it all the way to the end. But to get better at Street Fighter 5, I think two things need to happen. I think first of all, you need to take a step back, stop doing things, and you need to think. And to think brings on the next hurdle. You need to understand the game. So your Street Fighter 5 is, yeah, beat your opponents, you win the round. That is the bottom line. But there are, as I said before, there's many layers to how you play the game. There's a lot you need to learn, and with each layer that comes, there's another layer you need to defeat, another layer, and it just keeps going, and the learning process never ends. The third thing is time. You won't improve overnight. Like hitting the gym, like picking up like another hobby. You get better with that hobby, you get bigger in the gym with time. The harder you work out, the more strict you are, the better routine you have, the quicker you'll get better. But the gains appear with time. They're not going to appear overnight. So I think first you need to understand that, and you need to understand that you're not going to hit silver and gold in a couple of weeks, maybe I'd say a month from wait. Say if you're at bronze right now, you're not going to hit gold in a month. It's possible if you grind it out and really know what you're trying to practice. It can happen, definitely 100%. But for the average person, they're not really going to know what they're doing, and they don't really know how to use the training mode as well. That's the other problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a number of things today that will help explain some of the core fundamentals of the game that you may not understand, and try and get you to also think about your options rather than just, because a lot of people I play, and myself included, I'm going to rock myself into this as well. When you first start playing Street Fighter, you're doing this, you're jumping, you're doing things that don't link, and all sorts, and tattoos, and I understand you're trying to kill your opponent, but everything, this is the key thing to remember, everything in Street Fighter 5 has a pro and a con to it. Some things like the DP, heavy what's that one say, medium reward, major risk, it's things like that, and if you don't understand that, then you're going to struggle. So yeah, grab a drink, grab a little snack, and we'll go through things one by one. Again, it hasn't been rehearsed, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to tackle bits and bobs that will help you up your game. So yeah, let's go and do it. Right guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by explaining a few things in the game. So Street Fighter 5 is very rock, paper, scissory. It's a bit of an odd term, but I'm sure you understand what I mean by that. It's what beats what in what situation. So is my DP going to beat wake up buttons? And if it doesn't beat the wake up buttons, you need to understand why it doesn't. It's no good doing things and not understanding why you're winning that situation, you're losing that situation. How about a sip of my tea? So we're going to set up, so this is important as well, you need to understand how to use training mode. So always set attack data and key display on. Attack data because it will show you your damage output, as you can see there, and key data because you can see what's happening on the left hand side of the screen. If you're getting bad inputs, if you're not getting your DP out, you look at the very top of the list. So where I've got the forward and medium punch, that's the last input I did from the sequence. So you can see there that I did forward, quarter circle forward, and medium punch to get a medium punch DP. So set that on. So always do that. When they patch the game, I think it'll save your training settings. You won't have to keep doing it every time, but always save, or always have those two on. And this is an important part as well. So hit confirms, you can set the dummy to random guard all to practice your hit confirms. Hit confirms we'll cover later in the video. Counter hit, so where you hit a attack and the opponent's just pressing a button, this is where you'll counter somebody, or after certain moves. So dragon punches, if they're blocked on the way down, the opponent is in a counter hit state. So counter hits give you 20% more damage and better frame advantage. So again, stuff will cover, so don't worry about it now. It's all a little, little advanced. Important as well, recovery. So recovery is how the opponent gets off the ground. You've got 3 ways to get off the ground, so you need to think of this as well. No recovery is where you don't press any buttons to get off the ground. You don't get off the ground where you don't want to deal with a mix-up situation. So Laura, Ken's 50-50 setups. If you don't recover, you will avoid a 50-50 setup because you eliminate the timing required for them to the 50-50 because you'll stay on the ground. Most people normal recover, which I just keep tapping down as I hit the floor, and you'll lift straight up in the air. And you got back recovery, so your back is where I press right. I press back when I hit the ground, and you'll hit the ground and you'll flip backwards. So you'll get out of harm's way, but your recovery is a lot slower. So that's your recovery options. I usually keep it on normal recovery initially. Still not turn off because there's things I want to practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to set the opponent to do things on wake up. So record wake up options. So we're going to do the rock paper scissors. So we're going to wake up with. Let's do wake up with grab. So make sure you get reversal. So you must get reversal. You sat there on the right hand side. I'll do it again. So wake up grab. We're going to wake up EXDP. That wasn't a reversal, so it needs to be a reversal. Reversal means that your timing was perfect as you got off the ground. There was no delay. Your move comes out as fast as possible after getting up. So sometimes you got to do it over and over to get it perfect. So we'll keep doing it until we get reversal. There you go. So a perfect reversal EXDP, and we'll do wake up jab as well. So Ken doesn't have a 3-frame jab, he has a 4-frame jab. Frame data is very important to game as well. Try that again. There you go, reversal jab. And we'll do a last one as well. We'll get him to block. We'll get him to block, down, back. So I had to do that. I had to mash the input for him to do it. So let's just test each one there. So wake up actions mean after I've knocked the opponent down, they will do these things. Set wake up actions. So let's test him to do EXDP first. So you have to go into set wake up action to turn the action on. Turn that on. So I'm going to. He's not on guard or sweep. I'm going to hold down back to block his action, and he's going to wake up DP. So let's turn each one on in turn. Make sure you get the grab. Yeah, wake up grab. Sometimes they don't always work when you input them, so you may have to do it again. Wake up jab. Okay, yeah, so what's happened there is I've got 2 options on. Turn that off. We just want the jab and wake up. There's your jab, and let's see if he does nothing. Okay, so he didn't block that, so there's something wrong with the timing of the block wasn't set correctly. So set wake up action. No, record wake up action. Hoping that works. It's a bit awkward to do the block. I've noticed this before. How is he not going to do it? Okay, so what we'll do there is to create the block situation. So let's try it again. Try it one more time. What we'll do is we'll set him to guard all, and we'll set wake up action to it's awkward. Just put it on, but let's make him do nothing with that one because we didn't record anything on slot 5. Slot 5 is on. Let's see if he blocks it. Okay, so we'll have to take him to the corner now. So going to grab. Because he's blocking, the only way to beat a block is to grab. Why is he grabbing? Set wake up action. Nope. That's strange. Okay, it seems to be working now. So he's blocking, that's good. So we've created now 4 scenarios. So let's just cover them again. Not every opponent has these options. That's still nothing to remember. Wake up EXDP, wake up grab, wake up jab, and block. That's 4 things. So it's, I say rock paper scissors. We've got 4 scenarios there. Very basic things. So why I've done this is because I want to explain to you what beats what, and this is very important. To begin picking up Street Fighter 5, you need to understand what beats what. So let me show you that now. So set wake up actions. We're going to start with the DP. So DP is interesting. Not every character has a DP. If a character has a DP, DPs do different things. Light punch DP has invincible frames versus grabs. So if an opponent grabs, so if you if the blue Ken does a wake up light punch DP, if they understand what they're doing, they're anticipating that the purple Ken will grab on wake up. So as the blue Ken gets off the ground, they're gonna grab, and you light punch DP because you want to beat the grab, and it will. You'll actually see the hands come out because the grab will be initiated just before you get off the ground for it to land. As you get up, you'll see the hand go forward, but the light punch DP will go right through the grab. So light punch DP is should only be used, not in all circumstances, but in a wake up situation, light punch DP should only be used to beat grabs. It doesn't beat normals on wake up. It doesn't beat block, and that's why I've done the EXDP. EXDP beats everything. If you do any action, so the purple Ken is the aggressor, he's knocked the blue Ken down. And I'm getting the wrong with it. Let's just change that. Why is he grabbing? Oh yeah, sorry, that was grab, wasn't it? We'll start with the X. So I'm the aggressor, I want pressure. Now look at my inputs. I press down medium punch for a meaty crouching medium punch. Meaties I'll explain later on. Don't worry about that. So I wanted to put the pressure on. I wanted to get a meaty crouching medium punch on his wake up. But because he did XDP, it beats every option. It beats a grab, it beats a normal, it probably beat a delayed normal if you're not in block stun. So against, also I'll explain later on. It's got grab, command grab. It'll be the only thing it won't beat is if I do an EXDP at the same time. The animation will come out and you'll both trade if it's exactly at the same time. I don't know if I can replicate that, but the timing has to be exactly the same if it's happening. Yeah, it's very difficult to get it on the exact same frame. So yeah, and no one would EXDP if they're the aggressor. If they're the one in the pressure, in causing pressure, they're not going to EXDP. They're not going to DP on someone else's wake up. That doesn't make any sense. So EXDP beats everything. How do you beat EXDP on wake up? You block. Fundamental 101. You bait out the DP, you block, and as I said before, turn off guard all. So look, I'm not getting any notification for counter it now. DPs create a situation, guard all on, where recovery is bad. So recovery is where the opponent cannot press a button because they're recovering from the special move, and a DP will grant you a free counter. So watch now, if I press a button after this, watch the notification. So it said counter. It's giving me a counter hit. It's giving me more damage. It's giving me more advantage after the dragon punch. So that's DP's covered. We'll go over everything in more detail. We're just going over the options. Set wake up action. So we did grab, that was the first one. So grabs are very interesting, very powerful option. Street Fighter 5. A grab will beat blocking. So opponents that are very defensive and block. So if I grab him now, he's gonna grab me. What they beat are if you're blocking. So this opponent, you can see he's blocking. He's blocking low, he's blocking high. I can't get any damage. He's blocking overheads. How do you beat this person? You know, you can't throw a dragon punch. That doesn't beat a block. Nothing. No normal attacks beat blocks. Not even critical art. How do you beat a block? Grab. Grab. Command grab. That's how you beat people that are defensive, that are blocking. So, so that's the situation in blocks. That's why you'd use them. Somebody who grabs on wake up, it's because they want to defend against a grab. You have to press grab back. You have to anticipate. You can't react to it. Somebody can react to a grab coming. I don't think it happens. I think it's anticipation. They anticipate the grab because they look at the range that you're in, and they'll press grab back once they see the opponent is in sort of grab range. But you can get baited into grabbing as well. This is what I mean with the many layers. So I'm gonna knock his opponent down, and the blue Ken is a very well seasoned Ken, and he can see, right, this Ken is gonna go for throw loops. He's gonna keep throwing me in the corner over and over again. So I'm gonna do one grab. I'm gonna break his defense by grabbing him in the corner, and I'm gonna do grab again, and he techs. So the other Ken successfully identified that I wanted to go for a grab, and they press grab to counter my grab. You don't get any advantage from it. You see that you push back. If you look again, I'm pushed back, so I can't really do much after it. You can continue pressure from there. Stand heavy kick would work, but they successfully defended against the grab. They push you out of pressure. Gives them a little bit of breathing space by teching, but as I said before, you can if you try and tech. So everything has a pro and con. What's the con of trying to anticipate and counter the grab? What beats grabs are normal moves. So if I do grab, now you see that counter it. So what I did was so Ken has the throw loops in the corner. You can grab, stand light kick in between them for perfect timing, and grab again. So I made it look like I was going to throw a loop there. Timing was off. So timing's going to be perfect. I pressed back medium punch. So the blue Ken anticipated I was going to grab, but I wanted to trick him into thinking I'd grab by doing the setup before the next second grab. But instead of grabbing, I did back medium punch. And the reason why back medium punch is beating the grab is because back medium punch, doesn't matter on the move, it's a normal. Normals will beat grabs. If they're at the same time, it'll beat grabs. Well, in a situation where you're baiting a grab. I think also if both moves are done at the same time, so that's a 5-frame move. Grabs are a 5-frame move. I think even if they're trade, I think the normal beats the grab. I think that's how it works, but I'll leave a comment in the video to confirm that. So if you want to beat grabs, normals. There's another way to avoid grabs as well. If you're the person in the defensive options on the floor and you anticipate the opponent's going to grab, there is another thing you can do as well, which I didn't actually record. Let's do that. Neutral jump. Now neutral jump, it's another part of the rock paper scissors. Neutral jump, you see people do when you fight an opponent with a command grab. So the command grab is a very nasty type of grab. You cannot stop a command grab by pressing anything other than EXDP, because as I said before, EXDP beats everything, or your neutral jump. Why neutral jump beats? Let's just say set wake up option 4, wasn't it? Let me just check if it does it. Neutral jump. So why neutral jump beats a grab is because grabs need to happen on a grounded opponent. You cannot grab an opponent in the air unless you have an air grab, which Ken doesn't have, and you anticipate it. show you now. If I try and grab, it's not going to work. He's always going to get out of pressure. But you can do something like that if you anticipate it. So Ken doesn't have a command grab. So they can neutral jump as well. So another way, it's another layer to the other rock, paper, scissors. They can do that as well. But how do you beat that? So if someone keeps neutral jumping and wake up, I have a friend that does this a lot. What do you do? There's, as I said, there's a pro and a con to everything. So what you do there is you go for a meaty normal again, like I said before. So he's trying to jump. It's not working. You don't get a counter for this. So yeah, he actually jumped then, but I hit him in the air. Time it perfectly. He won't even get off the ground. So again, pros and cons of doing everything. An opponent's new jumping and wake up, you've got to adapt. You've got to change your game plan to counteract that. But the grab will not work. So we'll go back to wake up options. Go to slot 3. So slot 3 was wake up jab, I think, wasn't it? So you can block that. Wake up buttons. This is something that a lot of players lower league will do. They'll wake up with buttons. It's very risky. You can get away with it earlier on, but waking up with buttons, it's what your opponents, it's what the aggressor, so it's called the purple candy situation, the aggressor. It's what the aggressor wants you to do on a wake up situation. They want you to press buttons. The reason for that is because they want to score grabs and counter hits. They want to press a button to score damage on your wake up. Again, meaty. If I throw this Ken now and he wakes up with stand light punch, see how it's counter again. The reason it's counter is because my button is hitting the opponent's wake up jab before the jab even comes out. I'm timing it, so my button, I'm not going to press jab as well to get it to time it right. There you go. My jab hit their jab before their jab came out, and because you're awarded counter hit before you're awarded a counter on the startup frames of people's normals and specials. If he does a wake up fireball, which no one who plays Street Fighter should wake up fireball, that doesn't make sense. Again, I'll cover that later on. Fireball has recovery frames, has startup frames as well. So if he was to do a fireball and I jabbed him, I'm going to count it again. It's going to work in the exact same manner. Yeah, so that's why you get counted, but that's what I want. I want this Ken to wake up and do silly things. I want him to wake up, grab. That's badly timed. I want him to wake up, press buttons. Because I want. So look at. So I'll do a sequence now where this person's going to keep up, wake up, jabbing, and they're not going to learn their lesson. Oh, got block on. Let's turn block off. Second. So just watch the sequence. So they got counter hit, crush countered over and over because they kept pressing buttons. What do you do to avoid that situation? What if you don't want to get counter hit comboed on your wake up every time? The only thing to do there is stop pressing buttons, or if your opponent's very aggressive and they keep going for setups on your wake up, EXDP. As I mentioned before, EXDP beats any pressure that the aggressor is doing. The only thing EXDP won't beat is crouching, is blocking. If the opponent blocks, the person who EXDPs on wake up is going to suffer very badly because you get massive combo damage. Sorry guys, I still got a cold from a few weeks ago. Right, so I think that pretty much covers everything. So that's the rock paper scissors covered in great detail. That's block, yeah. So if they block him, as you saw earlier on, oh no, so I've got to set. It's a bit difficult to set the block situation. So I want to do a meaty crouching head medium punch. He's blocking. I lose the pressure there. I can't. That leads to nothing there. If I don't do my confirm, and I throw out an unsafe follow up, now I'm screwed now because I didn't confirm the EXTP before throwing it out. I'm in a situation there where he can score damage off me now. So grabbing is good on wake up just to not grabbing. Blocking is the ultimate defense. If you don't want to take damage, you block. But what beats blocking? As I said before, grabs. So yeah, you've got to make decisions. My train of thought where I'm in Street Fighter 5 now is assess the situation, and the first decision you come up with on your wake up, stick with it. If you want to throw out a button, just do the button. If you get hit, reassess what you've done. You've got a few seconds to decide what you've had to do, decide what you're going to do next. Am I going to block and just take the pressure? Am I going to wake up XDP? Don't change your mind midway through, because changing your mind will upset the timing of what you plan to do on your wake up. So you won't get a perfect EXDP reversal. So if you don't get the EXDP reversal, and I do a perfect meaty, my meaty is going to beat your EXDP because your EXDP was input late. Things that influence that, lag, things like that, input delay, because you maybe monitor if you're not accustomed to a slow monitor. So that's the 5 layers of let's call it 5 layers. Let's just call it the rock paper scissors scenario. So there's a lot of decision making there, but that all applies to when you're getting off the ground. When you're in the corner of the screen, it's a different game you play, where you both certain wake up options are. So where you start a match, everything is, so this is why they refer to it as neutral. Everything is neutral. You know, you start with no meter. You have the same pros and cons. Are all balanced at the moment. The matchup may not be in your favour because you're fighting someone who's not good to fight against with your chosen character. But you're in a situation where you need to establish pressure. You want to build meter, and you want to, with Ken as well, you want to get them to the corner as best as possible as you can. Defense is very good in terms of playing solid, but Street Fighter 5 doesn't reward defense, because if you defend too much, before you know it, you'll end up in the corner. And Street Fighter 5, and I think most fighting games, to be honest, if you're in the corner, you're at a major disadvantage. You can't escape by going backwards anymore, because there is no backwards. You're against a wall, against an invisible wall. Well, you're against the wall, sorry. You can't really jump out the corner because the opponent's going to, if they're spaced nicely, so I'll show you. So I'm in the corner now. The blue Ken's going to anticipate I'm going to jump. Perfect Dragon Punch range. He's going to anticipate a Dragon Punch, or he's going to crouch and heavy punch me. So you're trapped, you're stuck. You've got to wait for the opponent to make a mistake. The blue Ken make a mistake. So either jump over them, get out, and even that's a bad jump out because I'm too close to him. You want to get as far as possible. I use the X-Tatsu sometimes to get out because it brings me closer to the ground much quicker, and it takes me further out as well. I don't anticipate it. But yeah, being in the corner is not a good thing, so it's better you get the opponent to the corner and then you can establish some pressure. So now we're talking about this situation, you know, the startup situation every round. So bronze player Kens that I see play, problem with them is doing too much and you're not thinking of consequences. You're jumping, you're heavy kick tatsuing, which is punishable. You know, punishable means that if the opponent blocks it, they can punish you for free. There's nothing you can do to stop you cannot block after that, and I'll show you that now. So this is what we're going to cover now. So if I set wake up actions, I want the opponent to, oh no, it's not a wake up action, so it's a guard recovery reaction. Called guard recovery. I want this blue Ken to jab me. Jab is a 4 frame, so we'll cover frame data first and then we'll talk about neutral. So stand jab is a 4 frame startup move. There's 4 frames of animation before that jab actually makes contact with the opponent. So let's set them to guard all. So I'm going to heavy kick tatsu now. Heavy kick tatsu is -4 frames on block. What that means is, I have 4 frames of recovery before I can block, before I can input a button, before I can block. I have 4 frames that I cannot do anything. So what that means is that if the blue Ken does a 4 frame move, it's timed perfectly as a reverse. Is it a reversal? Ah, it's not set on. So this is what you're gonna do. This is why you need to understand how to use training. Set guard recovery options. Let's turn the light jab on block on. So yeah, it's a perfect reversal after block's done. I'm holding back now. I can't block it. I'm gonna EXDP. I'm trying EXDP. It's not coming out. There's nothing I can do. I'm gonna try and grab. You can't do anything. The reason you can't do anything is because you're free to a 4-frame punish. If the opponent has a 3-frame move, if the blue Ken did a light hit Tatsu or a light punch DP, they're 3-frame startup, so you're going to get hit. You cannot do anything. The reason why sometimes online the opponent doesn't do anything is because they use the wrong move to punish. They use a 5-frame move. A 5-frame move cannot punish a move that's -4 on block. Sometimes the reason why your EXTP clips them when you do the heavy kick Tatsu is because their jab after block stun has come out late. You've not pressed it perfect. You've not done perfect timing, so you've created a gap of say 1 or 2 frames. So that means now you're 4 frames before you have any advantage of pressing the button. They've left a gap for you to do something, and that's why you can input an EXTP after this. And that 1 frame advantage, that 1 frame of gap they've left, the EXTP comes out, and as I said to you before, EXTP beats everything except for block. So that explains that. So we've covered some terminology there now. I want to go over the terminology before I go any further. So let's go right back. So block stun is where heavier moves, especially 1-hit moves, carry greater block stun. See there, look how long the blue Ken is in a block state. And watch, much shorter time frame. Light jab compared to crouching sweep, crouching heavy kick, has less block stun because of light move. So block stun, to get a perfect reversal after being in block, you have to carry the block stun. You have to wait until you come out of the block state, and then you time your button perfectly. That's why it's difficult to punish sweeps, because you've been blocked them for so long. You've been mashing the button to sweep them back, but you're not timing it at the right time. You press it too early, and the sweep hasn't come out at all, or you press it too late because you've over compensated and you've pressed jab, you press sweep at a point where the opponent has recovered from their own sweep, so your sweep doesn't hit them. So that situation there, you sweep, so the blue Ken tries to sweep me back, he hasn't timed it correctly, he sweeps, the purple Ken blocks his sweep because it's taken so long to sweep back, and then they get punished. That's happened many times in the past with myself. So yeah, we're talking about block stun. So block stun you need to be aware of because different moves carry different block stun, and if you want to punish an attack, let's set this scenario up actually. So let's do guard recovery actions. Set the opponent to sweep on guard recovery. Guard recovery, we're going to sweep. So again, remember to set the action on. It was a perfect reversal as well. It's already on. I did record it slot 2. Set guard recovery on slot 2. There you go. That's another situation where I'm holding down back to block his sweep. I can't block it. The reason for that is because this move is unsafe. It's punishable. I think it's like there's 14 frames. Actually, let me get the tool out. It's 14 frames where you cannot do anything. So during those 14 frames, the blue Ken can, if it's especially on close range, they can do heavy punch DP, they can sweep, they can do critical art, they can do at that range. They can do anything. There's not many things they can't do because of the recovery frames. So this ties into the next step really. You need to download an app on your phone if you've got access to a mobile phone or a tablet. And as long as you're allowed to download apps on it, you need to download an app called FAT Tools. FAT Tools tells you the frame data for your. You need to at least know the frame data for your character. It's very difficult to learn the frame data of every character in the game, but at least learn it for your character. So I'm on the tool now. I can see crouching heavy kick, which is sweep, is -12 frames on block. That means if the blue Ken uses anything that's 12 frames or quicker, so 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, blah blah blah, all the way down to 3, because he has a 3-frame move, he's like Tatsu and light punch DP, they will punish the sweep. No questions asked. So what is it, -12, but this is a 14-frame move now. This is 14, I think it is, double check. Yeah, stand heavy kick has 14 frames of startup. It takes 14 frames of animation before it lands. So let me show you something there. So record guard recovery actions, do a third recording, stand heavy kick, my favourite button in this game. Difficult to get is the reversal because it's very slow. There you go. So now we have a sweep that's minus 12 on block. Minus 12 on block. So that's 12 frames for animation. It needs to take place before I can block. Before I can do anything, I have to wait 12 frames. And the opponent is going to try and punish my sweep with a 14 frame move. So a move that has 12 frames of recovery versus a move that has 14 frames of animation before it makes contact. Well, the question I'm going to ask you now is the blue Ken going to hit me or not? No. The reason not is because I recover 2 frames quicker than the button he's chosen to use as a punish. That's not what I wanted. 12 frames versus 14 frames. That move cannot punish that move. Ken doesn't have a 12 frame move. The slowest move after that would be stand medium punch. EX Fireball. Apparently EX Fireball is 12 frames starting. So let's set Ken to do EX Fireball on his wake up. 12 frames startup. That. So we're light for light now. 12 frames of recovery and a perfectly timed reversal after block of a 12 frame move. Oops. Keep doing this, I know. Set guard recovery options on. This is frame data fundamentals. I can't block it. Look at my inputs. So the inputs on the top left. I'm holding down back, but I cannot block it because it's a 12 frame startup move. I have 12 frames of animation before I can do anything. I need just one more frame to block that EX Fireball, but the Fireball's coming out in 12 frames, not 13. If it came out in 13 frames, I'll be able to block it, but I can't. And like before, I can't even EXTP because I need that one frame more to get the XTP to come out. So hopefully that explains frame data to you a bit more. Download the tool, look at the frame data, look at advantage on block. That will tell you, or disadvantage. So anything that's a plus number is good. So Ken's buttons, his stand light punch is positive. That's plus 2 frames. That's plus 1. I think crouching medium punch is plus 2 as well. So these have advantage. So these are where you're ahead. You have 2 frames. So basically, where a move is advantageous, the opponent's minus then essentially. They're 2 frames behind. So well, I have 2 frames advantage there. So that move is 12 frames, the EX Fireball. But I'm plus 2, so I'm 2 frames ahead already. And that move, the EX Fireball, is 12 frames. If I get my information right, if I do stand heavy kick after my crouching medium punch, that should hit that Ken, or we should trade because stand heavy kick is 14. It's all maths. That's 14 frames. EX Fireball is 12 frames. But I'm at 2 frames advantage after this move. I'm 2 frames ahead, so it's 2 plus 12, which is 14. Okay, it's not. There you go. Did you see what happened there? We traded. The reason we're trading is because, go back to the screen, is because his attack and my attack are happening at the same time. They're clashing. They're like for like. So where that was minus 12. And where EX Fireball is 12 frames, I needed one more frame to do something. And even then, with the extra frame of advantage to do something, to block, if I wanted to press a button, I've got the 12 frames of block, of recovery, but then I need more frames advantage to press a button. So that's 4 frame, that's 4 frame startup, that's minus 12. I would need 16 frames in this situation to trade with his EX Fireball because I would need to recover from that and I'd need 4 frames for my jab to come out. So if he had a 16 frame move, that and that would trade, but it doesn't. Can't do anything. But the situation I just showed you, because I did crouching medium punch, which gives me 2 frames of advantage, we trade because that's 14 frames. Minus the 2 because I'm plus. So that is on +2. So you essentially take 2 frames of startup away from this move because I'm advantageous. The EX5 is 12 frames, so it's 12 for 12. That's why we trade. That's why you clash. If that makes sense. Frame data will explain to you what's risky and what's not. So look at the startup frames. So moves like this are very slow. That's the reason why if somebody jumps in at you while you're doing stand heavy kick, you can't block it because you're in recovery for so long. Very slow move. That's 14 frames of startup. Recovery is important, but I don't really look at recovery. I always look at startup frames of moves, and I look at the frames it takes to recover whilst blocked. So this move, for example, it's 4 frame on block. So it's 4 frames of recovery before I can block. So 4 frames, it's not a massive amount, but can get, just like the heavy kick tattoo. Set guard recovery actions. Oh no. Record number 5. We'll go for stand light kick. Stand light kick is a 4 frame move. Let's put that on. So look at this. I cannot block that. I cannot EXTP. I have to take it because I need a 5th frame to get into a block state. But space it out a little bit. Like there. It whiffs. So this is where range is important. So frame data is important, but if you don't have the range to punish a move, there's nothing you can do. This blue Ken, even though this move is -4, I'm spaced at a range where I cannot be punished. And this is why you see me do it. What you see me do a lot is I'll punish Kens that do stand heavy kick with stand light kick and cancel into the DP because it will link. That'll always hit if you're in range, and you can cancel the normal into a special to continue to basically create a combo. If I get the get which one it was now. Was it 3? There you go. So watch. Got time it right. So you gotta get the time right. So the reason why I wasn't punishing it properly there because I wasn't anticipating the block stun correctly. So again, look at the block stun after that move. Quite heavy block stun. So you gotta make sure you input your punish at the right time. Remember, the blue Ken is set to guard all. He should be guarding everything. He cannot guard that because it's punishable. He's at a range, it's punishable. There you go, free punish. And I'm cancelling the normal into a special because I know it will work. No need to confirm. Straight up cancel. But it's going to hit. And you don't need to confirm that because it will definitely hit. As long as you time it perfectly, it will definitely hit. So this is why frame data is important. So we've covered the rock, paper, scissors of Street Fighter 5. We've covered frame data. Now, neutral is where I was going with things. Ken's neutral is not the best in Street Fighter 5, but in my opinion, my personal opinion, it's not bad. It is actually, I like Ken's neutral, and the reason why I like it is because his neutral to me plays a counter poke role. It's not Karin's pressure. It's not, you get buttons all day. You can just keep hitting him, knocking the corner. You want to be at a range where the only sort of button I use in range is crouch and meaty punch. Even that you can use at a counter poke range. Counter poke range is where the opponent is pressing buttons and you want to catch their buttons as they're pressing them. And the 3 buttons to use, let's say 4 buttons. The 4 buttons for a beginner to use with Ken while playing footsies. This kind of range, stand light kick, it's quick, it's very annoying. Doesn't do much damage, but it keeps the opponent at bay. If they're dashing a lot, if they're harassing you a lot, it's a great button. And it's that kind of range you want to use. Stand medium punch. Stand medium punch, you don't want to be too close to the opponent. You don't really want to be in a range like that where it's going to hit. You want to be at a counter poke range right there. So if they press something, you want that to land. That's probably about there actually. You want to catch their button. Great button, very underused by Kens. And crouching mini punch, probably just a little bit closer, right there. And the other button, stand heavy kick. Stand heavy kick moves forwards very slightly. So that's why you don't want to be in range like that. You don't want it to connect. You want to be a little out, right there. And again, you want to catch buttons. If you do want to catch them, if you want to make contact with the opponent, just keep it as far as possible, like there. Just get the tip of the toe to land, right there. You don't want any more than that, because if you're too close, they block that, you're in trouble. You're open to a free punish. Exactly the same as the heavy tattoo. You're open to a free punish if they block. So these are the 4 buttons you need to use. So what you'll do is, and what you'll see players do is they'll weave in and out, they'll weave in and out. What they're doing is they're weaving in and out of the opponent's range. So Ken versus Ken, the blue Ken has the same, want to be at the same range that I want to be for footsies, for pokes, for neutral. So it's a bit awkward with Ken versus Ken because you're both trying to do the same thing, but what happens there is the timing of your buttons. It's the button choices that you use in neutral that are important. So a good example would be stand light punch, crouch and medium kick. That's probably a bit too close. So not point blank stand light punch, about there. So stand light punch, crouch and medium kick. Look at the spacing there. Perfect stand heavy kick. That's a really basic example of spacing. All 3 buttons hit, but I'm pushed out at like max range for each one to land. Push back, that still connects, But I'm at a range where, look at the range between me and the blue Ken. So now a light punch is going to whiff. Crouch mini kick is going to hit. Or just out of range, so I'll do it again. So that's going to whiff. That connects, but now it won't connect from out of range. So what move will I use there? Stand heavy kick. I'm pushing the opponent back, but I'm using buttons to still connect with the opponent. I push them backwards, I spaced us for certain buttons to work. And why that's important. Season 1 Ken, this was the go-to footsie sort of tool, crouch and medium punch. And people would do crouch and medium punch, stand heavy kick. It was great, it worked really well, but look at the range. Stand heavy kick's hitting way too deep. And what the problem there is when you were doing stand crouch and medium punch, opponents were wary. They're like, okay, this guy's definitely going to stand heavy kick. So what I'll do is I'll go for a move that's quick and has range that will beat stand heavy kick. I think stand heavy kick was 13 frame startup in 13 frames of animation it required before the kick made contact. Sweep, I think, is 8 frames startup. So let's have a quick look at that. Yeah, Ken's sweep, so frame data per character isn't always the same. But his sweep is 8 frames startup. So when I was doing crouch medium punch stand heavy kick, a clever opponent see the range and they'd be like, right, this guy's going to do crouch and heavy kick. Stand heavy kick. So I'm going to sweep him. So look at the range now. So we're both at the same range now. So whatever I do to Ken, the blue Ken, he can do back to me because of our range. I at this range when I press stand heavy kick, that's too close for stand heavy kick. If the blue Ken did a sweep, he would crush counter me because his sweep would hit my stand heavy kick during startup. Very important. Now look at the scenario I just showed you. Stand light punch, crouch and medium kick. Can the blue Ken sweep me now? No, I'm out of range of his sweep. Perfect stand heavy kick. This is why neutral spacing is important. That's why I like stand medium punch. Stand medium punch, you're at a range. Counter poking right there. Look again, it sets you a perfect stand heavy kick. They can't sweep you after that. It's out of range, but a bit too far out. Can't sweep, but my stand heavy kick is still going to work. And stand heavy kick is a great button because if it hits someone pressing a bad button, you get a crush counter, which leads to even more combo potential. So those are Ken's main buttons. The harassment button, the go-to counter poke, it's a 5 frame startup movement. No, it's 6 now. Still fairly quick. An underused button, it's just as good. And his long range attack. If people are jumping a lot, and they keep, if they don't want to engage in footsies, be wary of using that move because it's very slow. So that takes on to the next sort of topic, jumpings. So what you've got your 4 buttons now neutral. I say 4 buttons, but then yeah, you crouch and beat. So you can do the same sequences with stand light kick. Crouch and mini kick is another good. It's not great. It's not as good as other people's crouch and mini kicks. But why crouch and mini kick is good? It's because it's a low, and the opponent has to block low to block that. So maybe include that as well. But just use your buttons. don't use stand heavy punch too much in neutral. It's a bit too slow, and you probably get crush counted in a lot of battles. It's 9 frame startup. The range is quite short on it. Look at the range. It's actually shorter than stand medium punch. So it's not the best button really I don't think that's a good footsie button. Likewise, stand medium kick. That's 8 frame startup, so fairly slow. That's 7. So just a bit 1 frame slower than that. 8 is noticeable, and the problem with this move is he moves forwards, and when you move forward, you get into a range. You go from counterpart range, you go to a range that you actually can be hit. I often get crush counted when I use this button in neutral, so I don't use it. So that. You can even use jab. Jab and these moves are very similar. Jab pushes back a bit more, has more pushback, but that's plus on block. That's +2. So these 2 buttons are just as good. So those are the neutral buttons you want to use. But jump-ins, so a huge issue with Street Fighter 5 is input delay. Input delay is 6.5 frames around about. So it's very difficult to anti-air. Playing a Shoto, playing with somebody with a DP, you want to EXDP or medium punch DP. We'll cover this in more detail later on. Anti-air. Very easy on paper, but when you're in an intense match and you focus on so many other things, the DP last minute is very hard to do. So Ken's other anti-airs, and this is again for you bronze players out there, so important. You need to be ready as much as possible to anti-air jump-ins, because people are going to jump in bronze league. People are going to jump in for days. That's all they want. They don't understand how to get in. Maybe you don't understand how to get in. So the easy way to get in is jump. You jump in, you get distance on the opponent, and most people don't anti-air. People in gold, people in platinum don't anti-air because they're crap at it. You know, they'll just abuse certain tactics, certain setups, but they haven't practiced their anti-airs. A good Street Fighter player can anti-air. Well, can't say good, but someone who knows what they're doing anti-air a lot. So you, as a beginner player, I'm not going to say DP, Dragon Punch, because it's difficult to do in this game to time it correctly. But Ken has 2 great buttons, like basic anti-air buttons that you can use. The quickest anti-air you're going to get, stand medium kick. If you see the opponent in the air, stand medium kick is very, very good. It has a deceptive range, both long range and close range. So if the blue Ken lands about there, let's get him to jump. We'll get him to. Another tool that's very useful is playback recording. You can actually create the opponent to do things. So we'll get him to walk backwards and forwards and jump forwards, medium kick. There you go. So always remember, you gotta turn that on. He's gonna jump at me. I'm anti-aiming with stand medium kick. Very, very good button. You don't have to press any directions at all. It's 1 button anti-air. Similar to Balrog's stand medium punch. 1 button anti-air. Surprisingly good. I don't use it enough. What I use is crouching heavy punch. It's quicker than stand medium kick, but you have to press down first. And pressing down probably costs you more frames in total. But another very, very good anti-air, and you'll see. Look at the range. You can stop them going over you as well. Let's try and get it really deep. Traded there because it was a bit late. Look at that, stopping him from going over me, stopping him from crossing me up. Very similar to there you go. That's probably the range you don't want to use it at. Very similar to Kami's back medium punch. Very, very good. Start using it, guys. Anti-air. Try them both. Go in the lab. Just set the opponents to record, jump in on you, and just keep doing it. Still it in your brain that you want to anti-air using those 2 buttons. What will happen there is, especially with bronze players, they'll realise that if they're wise, they won't jump in anymore, and they'll be forced to play the ground game again. But because you now have the knowledge, your ground game's strong now, because you know the ranges you're looking at. Don't dash in and out. When you're playing footsies, just walk, because when you walk, you can still block. You can walk forward, and you can down back, walk forward, down back. Keep this going on, because you've got to protect your legs at all times. So you've got to remember to block, because your opponent will go for lows, and you must block lows with a crouch block. So you're walking in and out of the range. You're crouch blocking when your opponent's putting pressure on. Overheads are quite relatively slow in this game. You can react to overheads, so don't overuse crouch block, because eventually an overhead will come. But you can react to an overhead. You can't really react to a low. That's why you've got to protect the legs, protect the feet at all times. But you've got to move in and out of his range. You're forcing the opponent now. Opponent's getting frustrated. Can't jump in on this guy. I'm getting pissed off. So I'm going to try and dash in at them. I'm going to try and grab them. I'm going to try and pressure them with some crazy buttons. I'm going to heavy kick Tatsu if I want to get in on them. You've got the advantage now because you know moves like that are punishable. You can get light kick, medium, heavy kick Tatsu. You can do light punch into DP. You can do light punch into chin buster. You've got the knowledge to punish those unsafe moves. You're gonna try your best to check his dashes because a dash you can't block during a dash backwards and forwards. So during a dash, you've got to just take the hit. So you're stopping him dashing in, and you're pressing the buttons. You're spacing yourself right, put some good pressure on. So this guy cannot get in on you now. He can't jump in at you. He can't play footsies with you. He's getting annoyed. You're already at an advantage now because you've changed your game up. You're not jumping in stupidly. You're not doing unsafe moves. You're playing smart, and that's the crux of this video. You're playing smart. So you've got your footsies down. You've got your anti-airs down. So the next thing to do is, and this is where you need to test your opponent. So you need to be aware of their options. So do they have good anti-airs? Do they have a command grab? What options do they have? It's good to consider that off the bat before you go into the match. But then your next thing is, okay, how good is this person's defense? How good are their anti-airs? Test them. Just jump in. Jump in once. Don't jump in straight away. Well, you can jump in straight away. It's fair. Jumping in on at the beginning of a round is surprisingly good. Catch people off guard. But don't keep doing it. Don't do a jump in, go backwards, jump in. Mix it up. So you're playing your footsie game. You're keeping them at bay, counter poking. So that's a counter poke there. That would probably catch one of their buttons afterwards. So you're counter poking. They're getting flustered. You've anti-aired them a few times. Test them. It's a bit of range where you can either cross them up, catch a medium kick, or that sort of range. Jumping heavy. If they don't anti-air, if something works, keep doing it until the opponent adapts. If the opponent does not anti-air, you're free to keep doing that over and over again. You're not playing scrubby, you're playing to the opponent's weaknesses. Test them with that. Also test them with run cancel with Ken. I only tend to test it once during the start of a match, just to see what they do. A run cancel for Ken, it's best button to run cancel off. I think a crouching medium punch, stand medium punch. Never do stand heavy punch run cancel if it's blocked. So we're not talking about on hit, we're talking about block here. So set guard on, guard off, get into guard. So now Ken isn't the aggressor Ken, the purple Ken isn't an advantage in that situation. Set the you don't want to stand heavy kick, you want to jab or something. I think that was stand light kick, wasn't it? Yeah. So you can see there, I'm doing crouching mini punch run, stand mini punch run. I'm down back in, I can't block it, but the opponent has to be quick to anticipate the running, to punish it. If they do nothing, you're free to pressure them. So you can do the classic is crouching mini punch V-skill, grab. If they're not quick enough, they won't be able to grab. So test them with the jump in. Test them with the run cancel. If they check you with the run cancel, if they jab, or if they DP, or if they do something or sweep, or if they punish the run cancel, because the run cancel, when you run forwards, you're in a counter hit state, just like the recovery of the DP. You can be crush countered. If they press down heavy punch as you run it, you'll eat a crush counter. That's why it's not good just to run in to get pressure. That's not wise. You're better off dashing to get in because it takes less time to dash in and you're not in a counter hit state. But test them with the run cancel. See what they do. Even if it hits, it's even better because you have more advantage. Not more advantage, you're less minus on hit with the run cancel. See what they do. If they're not doing anything about it, then you're going to be free to do this all day long. And then mix it up. Until they start checking it, keep doing it. So now, let's just say this blue Ken, say this is how they're playing. They started off jumping in, they've been anti-aired a lot. It's messed up their jumping pressure. So I can't get in via that way. You're a very strong Ken, you've got great footsies. There's no way they're going to beat your footsies. And now you've become aggressive, you're jumping in and you're landing these heavy attacks in the air. They're getting hit, they're getting close to stun. And now you're throwing in something else in the mix. You're doing run cancels. So look what's happened there. So this is obviously this is theoretical. your pressure game and your defense is on point. You're anti-airing, so you're defending very well, stopping the jump-ins. You've got 3 ways to pressure. You're neutral strong, so you're pressuring the opponent with strong neutral. You're pressuring the opponent from the air, and they can't handle the jump-ins. And now you're throwing run cancels and licks. So what you've done there is, you've given the opponent 3 things to worry about, 3 things to be scared of. So they're having to consider, this is the mental game of Street Fighter 5, they're having to think about more now. I'm having to worry about this guy because he's doing 3 things to me. I've got to counter these 3 things. You're not doing the same thing over and over. So they've got to worry more about that now. So you're in a situation where you've built a good offense. This is the key to getting out of bronze. Anti-airs, mix up pressure, good footsies, the run cancel, and the jump-ins. The question is now, what if they anti-air my jump-ins, and what if they're checking my run cancels? So you're back to footsies. You've got to play the footsie game to get in, and unfortunately you're going to have to use that to get the advantage. I play a very basic game with Ken, and my basic game is to punish the opponent's mistakes, to anti-air as best I can, and to play footsies. That's the way I like to play Ken. I like to just use footsies and anti-air, as basic as that. That's my game plan, and if I'm lucky I'll get the opponent into the corner. Once they're in the corner, your next tactic is to get the knockdown. So this is where knockdown's interesting. Whoever gets knocked down first, they're a disadvantageous situation. So we'll talk about meaties now. So let's go for guard all off, normal recovery. So I'm going to go for, I'm trying to think of a basic setup that would work. Okay, yeah, I know what we can do. Let's talk about the Ken that jumps in. Let's put that back on. This guy's going to jump in. So you're a great Ken now. You're a confident bronze player, and you know jump-ins. You want to use crouching medium, crouching heavy punch. Now run cancels. This isn't. It's getting a little bit more advanced. When you anti-air somebody with a normal, it's not a knockdown. Look what happens. They backflip onto their feet. They're not knocked to the floor. If I DP, it's different. They get knocked down. If they hit the floor, they have to wake up off the ground. And in EXDP, they can't quick rise. They're forced to do a slow recovery, or a no recovery. I do medium punch DP. I think they can quick rise. Yeah, so he did a back rise then, didn't he? It looked like to me. That's interesting. Oh yeah, because the reason why I did a back rise is because I've already input. This is playback recording. You can't set the wake up option. It's not fixed. So he's back rising because of the inputs of the recording. So you can recover quicker after a medium punch DP. You can't after EXDP forces the opponent only to do no recovery. They can't quick rise at all. So what this does is the knockdown, the medium punch DP, and the crouching heavy punch, they knock the opponent back into a recovery state in 2 different ways. You have the spin in the air, which still is a recovery, and you have the knockdown. What you need to then do is once you normal anti-air and you get I call it an air reset. You've reset them. You've anti-aired them into a reset in the air. So you can't follow up the crouching heavy punch with anything unless it's a crush counter, but that's more advanced. You've hit normal. You just got the normal hits of it. A crush counter, it's different, but crush counter is quite hard to do. It's get quite late. Anyway, let's ignore the crush counter for now, anti-air. Let's just go for the normal crouching heavy punch. So you've reset them in the air, you haven't traded, and they've been knocked back. So what you want to do there is, with Ken, for normal anti-airs, same with stand medium kick, you can do a run cancel after that. And what run cancel does is it will set up a close range pressure situation for you and the blue Ken. Most often than not, I think the aggressor, the person who does the anti-air and V skill, the run, will have the advantage. So let's look at that now. Don't want to trade too early. See what happened there? I ended up behind them. is even more tricky. But I'm right next to them. Badly timed. See what happens there? I'm getting the pressure now. Because I'm anti-airing and I'm pressing the run to get in on them. Let's go back for crouch. I use crouching heavy, medium punch, crouching heavy punch. For that. And that hit for. Okay, yeah, it's because of the recording. I'm getting crouching medium punch. Afterwards, grab. That's another one. After the air reset, you time it right. Look at. Focus on when the purple Ken stops his run and when the blue Ken lands, and see if you can see who becomes neutral first. That's the important thing to spot. It's about the same. No, purple Ken is definitely has the advantage. He has the choice of what he does first. So as the blue Ken, you've got to either eat the pressure, block it. You may end up taking a grab. Or the blue Ken could even wake up DP as he lands, and it's clever in some ways. But then if the aggressor Ken, the purple Ken, blocks it, then the blue Ken's in a world of hurt then. So I'm doing this because I want to get the pressure. I'm getting the pressure. So after neutral, after the anti-airs, after the run cancels, after the successful jump-ins, or if you're not getting the run cancels and you're not getting the jump-ins, you need to get close range of Ken. This is it. This is where I only know how to play Ken. Ken is better at close range. You get close range of Ken to use his meaties and his grab pressure and his DP baits. So what a meaty is, so we spoke about this earlier on. A meaty is where you score a knockdown and you press a button. So I ran. So if you look at what I did there, chin buster into heavy punch DP, B skill. And I did crouch and medium punch. What that is, and I'll break it down very slowly, is after the knockdown. So every knockdown has a scenario, a follow-up scenario. So follow-up scenarios, it's all number based. You need to time what you do, what actions you take. So I could even do, I think this will work. I could do, that's probably not perfect timing, but you want something that's perfectly timed that will beat the opponent doing something on the wake up. See how this all ties in together now? Ties in what I said before. Wake up options, rock, paper, scissors. So this person, this blue Ken, the aggressor Ken, the purple Ken, has created from that knockdown a rock, paper, scissors scenario now. And because I know what I'm doing, I know that V skill into crouch and medium punch is a it's an Oki setup. So Oki is it's a short word for I think it's Oki. I can't pronounce it. It's a Japanese word. Oki is the shortened down version. What Oki means is it's the choices you make after knockdown that create pressure. So every knockdown has a different Oki, and Oki depends on if they're quick rise, if they're back rise. You need to have the Oki setups for as many knockdown situations as you can have. And the perfect Oki for chin buster, heavy punch DP, non-V trigger, and if the blue Ken quick rises, this is the Oki setup against 4 frame. I think it works for 3 frame as well. So there's many layers to Oki as well. For a 3 frame wake up, a 4 frame wake up, for a grab, for back rise, for quick rise, and again it depends on the knockdown that you create as well. But that is the Oki setup. If I do stand jab, see how stand jab misses? It's the incorrect Oki this situation because the blue Ken hasn't recovered in time for the jab to hit. If we try back medium punch, I think back medium punch will work. It just hit. There you go. So that's probably, back medium punch is probably better for a 3 frame wake up button because 3 frames, even though it's 1 frame quicker, 3 frame wake up buttons come much quicker than 4 frame buttons and they'll throw off your timing. So if you're a good Ken, you can confirm that into the exact same scenario. But we're going to go for crouch and medium punch. The reason why we go for crouch and medium punch is because Ken's jab is a 4 frame. So we've gone for the Oki setup and a meaty crouch and medium punch. So I said earlier on, what's a meaty? A meaty is where you press a button shame you can't see it in slow motion, on the opponent's wake up, and it lands as soon as a move has startup frames, active frames, recovery frames. Active frames are what kick in after startup, so that has 6 frames of startup, and then it will have, I think, 2 or 3 frames of active frames. You want the active frames to land on the opponent as the opponent gets off the ground. So let me show you that again. The jab misses is because it comes out too early and its active frames don't connect with the blue Ken once it is in a hittable state. When you get off the ground, you are invincible. So if I show you for a few seconds, if I do that, watch, if I keep mashing jab, he can't get hit until he's standing back up. He's back in an active state. The meaty setup, this button is basically making contact with the opponent on its active frames as the opponent becomes active as well. I don't use active as the word for the blue Ken. Once they're hittable, once they're back in play, so once the blue Ken is back in play and can do something, you want this to hit them. You don't want it to come out during startup. You want it to land on them during the active frames. What that does is that means the blue Ken cannot do anything because he's got to eat. He has to take the punch. The only thing he can do, as we mentioned before, is wake up DP. That will beat a meaty normal. Nothing you can do about that. The aggressor Ken, the purple Ken, has to take it. So this is where meaty setups, oki setups, if you want to get to mid gold, ultra gold, you need to learn oki setups and meaty setups for your character. You need to. And every knockdown, so I'll show you another one. Every knockdown has a different meaty setup. That's not a meaty setup for Chinbuster, heavy kick tatsu. What is though, dash forward light. So for after Chinbuster heavy punch DP, it was V skill, crouch mini punch. After Chinbuster heavy kick tatsu, it's dash forward light punch. Different, they're all different. See what I mean? So you can keep doing that. So where we did that, even that was too early. So that's probably not perfectly timed actually. So where we do that, now we do that. And if the opponent presses the button, if they press jab, if they press grab, your meaty will counter hit. So we spoke about counter hits earlier, so let's go into counter hits more now. If I do crouch mini punch, it doesn't combo. If I score a counter hit, crouch mini punch, so if I do a meaty crouch mini punch, they press jab and wake up, that combos now. Combo, it does more damage. So that was doing, let's go back. Well, that doesn't even combo anyway. It doesn't combo. Let's go for a combo. That's a meaty confirm. Crouch mini punch, stand like, probably my favourite confirm we can. So that does 87 damage. Because you get 20% more damage on the first hit because you get 20% more damage on counter hit. You get more damage at 99 now. And you have more options. You don't have to go for that confirm now. You can go for crouch medium to get that. Again, counter hit confirms are a bit more of an advanced technique, but they're not hard to do with practice. So I'm gonna illustrate this now. Wake up actions. Oh, I forget which one's jab. Was it? I think it was the fourth one, wasn't it? Maybe. Try again. No, it's neutral jump. Was it that one? Yeah, so now watch this. So I'm going to turn count it off, because you can fix count it on in the training mode. I'll turn it off. You see count it's not on. But because he's going to press a button, I'm going to do a meaty crouch and medium punch that will land during its active frames as the opponent gets up. But he'll be trying to jab, and that will cause a counter hit situation. So Oki, Meaty, counter hit. It's counter hit because he's pressed the button. Wise person will not press buttons and wake up. Characters with 3-frame moves will be more happy to press buttons because 3-frame buttons are really, they're nasty. They just throw off everything. But a character that doesn't have 3-frame buttons will pretty foolish to wake up and press jab. You're asking for trouble because then you're going to be put in a situation where you'll take a counter hit, you'll take a confirmed combo, massive damage. I mean, let's just look at this now. Because I'm fully stocked, I'm going to use all my meter. To combo the point. That wasn't optimal, but because the person did a wake up jab, I ended up using all my meter and my V trigger to score 318 damage after the knockdown, all because they did a wake up button. Wake up buttons aren't great, so if you want to progress, there are situations you wake up buttons. I do it as well. The situation where I do wake up buttons is where I know there's no true Oki. So a situation for that would be, there you go, look. So after Ken does a back throw, what can I do to get in there? He's too far from me. There's nothing I can do. There are some things you can do. You can do that. That doesn't really happen very often. The reason why that worked is because my stand heavy kick is beating his jab. His hurt box, his hit box is extended. So a hit box is, can't really illustrate it on here, but in neutral you have a fixed hitbox in an area of which you can hit the opponent, but when you press moves your hitbox changes. Your hurt box changes. So as you press moves your hurt box extends, gets bigger, gets stretched because obviously your animations are moving. So if this Ken, if I show you, if he wakes up, I can't stand heavy kick there, but because he's pressing jab his hurt box is extending to his arm and my stand heavy kick is actually clipping it. That's why it's crush countering. But most Kens wouldn't really go for that. What they do is they try to create an Oki setup that doesn't exist. Where an Oki setup doesn't exist means that they're open to wake up buttons. So I'm going to try and go for crouch, it's for V skill. No, I'm going to try and go for dash forward light punch. It's not an Oki setup and I'm getting hit. That's where a wake up button I think makes sense. I sometimes wake up with back medium punch because I know the opponent can't do anything. Cammy's forward throw thing, for example, she will dash in after it because she wants pressure, but you can back medium punch it, and I think I'll have to do the lab work. I think that will always hit if she does it. If you quick rise after being thrown by Cammy and she dashes in, that will hit, and that will, if you're a seasoned Ken player, you can confirm that for damage. It's not a true Oki setup. You only can't do things where there's true Oki. That's where you shouldn't really press buttons. So we've done the wake up button situation, we've done meaties. So we're going to talk about confirms now. So this video is an overview of what you need to look at, but to practice these things you need to watch more videos that specialise in those topics. So for Ken's Oki videos, just type in Ken Oki Street Fighter 5 into YouTube and you'll find many tutorials by other people. I've got a few as well that explain what setups you want to go for, what his Oki setups are. Now we're talking about, so Oki, Meaty and confirms all go into one thing. So the Oki setup is what you do after the knockdown. The Meaty is the button you choose. The confirm, why you need to learn confirms, and Ken's confirms are critical for him to do well. What a confirm is, and you just listen to what I say and just take in what I'm trying to explain. So I'm going to set this to random guard. A confirm is, and this is why you use random guard. You do two. Let's keep it basic. You do two buttons that will combo. So I'm gonna go for this confirm first. Let's turn his I think he's pressing buttons, isn't he? Let's turn off everything. So we don't want him to press anything. That's because him pressing buttons in between a confirm, it's essentially a frame trap. That's something else. We'll talk about it in a bit. A confirm, basic confirm, is where you use two or more buttons. You can use three for some characters. And what you do is if the first hit lands, you always do the same 2 buttons. I'm always going to do crouching meaty punch, stand like kick here. I'm always going to do that. I'm going to do no more than that initially. If my crouching meaty punch lands, it hits the opponent. After the stand like kick, I will do a DP. The reason for this is because you want to score max damage. Well, you want to explain it. You want to score a knockdown. You want to get good damage, like that. So I've got 191 damage just off a crouching meaty punch. Crouching meaty punch by itself does 60, but you're using the stand light kick after the crouching meaty punch landing to give you time to see if you can confirm into DP. You can't just do DP by itself because it's unsafe. You want something to give you time to let you know your DP is going to hit. It's going to combo. So you want this to hit. Once that hits, you're autopiloted into the stand light kick. This is the confirm. That's what you're doing. But you're using both together, and all you gotta recognise is that hitting. As soon as that hits, the time you've got after that hits, and then the light kick coming out, gives you plenty of time to cancel into the special move. That doesn't combo, but the easiest special move to confirm into is Meaty Kitatsu. It's a much easier input. But again, that's unsafe on block. But if you do, that'll combo. Very easy to do. It's easier to do than heavy punch DP as a beginner. How easy it is. You have so much time to confirm it. More advanced confirms. You can get the heavy punch DP. Cancel that as well. That's a little more advanced. It requires very good inputs. But because I confirmed, what I'm trying to say is because I confirmed off of the crouching meaty punch and I use the stand light kick to give me time to recognise, you can buy yourself big combo damage because of the confirm. This is why confirms are really important. Very, very, very important. But confirms are very dependent on range as well. Ken's Ken's close range confirm is that stand light punch, bat meaty punch. It gives you less time than that, I'd say. But the confirm is as long as the light punch lands, after bat meaty punch, you just go into the second hit of chin buster, like that. It's very easy to confirm, like that. You can see I'm getting it consistently. Even that, I wasn't even concentrating, then I got it. And then after that second hit chin buster, you cancel into special. That's why confirms are very important. You need to learn confirms to get better at the game. You need to practice. Go in the lab, just put your input data on, put the attack damage on, put the opponent's a random guard, and just keep doing it. 3 confirms you want to do. That for close range. This is more, yeah, it's just out of close range. That this is great for people that dash in. Someone dashes in on you and you get a crouching meaty punch. Try and autopilot the stand light kick after it. And the other confirm I'd say to use is it's good for close range. If you do get a close range crouching meaty punch, that meaty punch. There you go. That's that confirm. You only press the second hit of chin buster if the crouching meaty punch hits, like that. If that doesn't hit, you don't. You stop. So like, there you go. You stop there. Even if the back meaty punch hits, don't continue because at a beginner level you won't be able to confirm back meaty punch into heavy punch. It is doable, and I'll show you that now if my timing's right. But that's, see that I'm getting it wrong. Let me just concentrate and show you that it can be done. Bit late on the last one, but you can see that that's a one hit confirm. That takes great concentration. Silly as it sounds, you've got to get some good rest to do that. You've got to be well rested, no distractions. You can't be recording a video while you're doing it to get a one hit confirm. So you can, like I'll do when I'm on form, I'll use that confirm. But that's your normal confirm. You get the timing right. 3 hits. But if that's blocked, but that hits, like that, see how I still confirmed? I confirmed, even though the light punch was blocked, the back medium punch hit, and I still was quick enough to react to that, to the second hit. More of an advanced confirm, don't worry about that. Focus on those 3 2-hit confirms. That's the first one. That's close range back. That's close range crouching medium punch, close range stand light punch back medium punch, and crouching light punch stand light kick. Those are the key 3 hit confirms Ken needs as a beginner player. As you get better at the game, you can then throw in counter hit confirms. So counter hit confirms are because you get more advantage on the first hit. So that's a counter hit confirm. So on counter hit, you can see if I'll turn that off. Turn it off altogether. That doesn't combo. But with counter hit stand light punch, because I get more frames advantage, it combos now. That's a counter hit confirm. That is a counter hit confirm. Normally, that doesn't combo. Crouch and light kick in the back medium punch. But in counter hit, it does. You confirm it. So counter hit confirms are more advanced. Focus on non-counter hit confirms, because you can still get non-counter hit confirms if you do score a counter hit. That still works, look. That still works. That still works. So don't focus on counter hit confirms for now. But counter hit confirms can get you damage out of situations you don't expect to get damage. To be honest, guys, that it's a lot to learn there. I've gone over a lot of basics with Ken. We've gone over the decision making, rock paper scissors. We've gone over neutral. We've gone over anti-airs. We've gone over frame data. We've gone over hit confirms. We've gone over meaties. We've gone over oki setups. You're not going to walk out of this video now and you're gonna hit gold. What you need to do now is you need to practice these things. I keep emphasizing this. Practice these things one by one. Spend a day doing one thing until you're happy with it. Then the next day, practice the next thing. But at the end of the practice the next thing, go back to what you did the day before and make sure that those things you practiced the day before are still, still there. You haven't slacked on them. Then the third day, whether it's back to back or not, practice the next thing. But then practice the last 2 things you practiced. Make sure you're still hot on them. And keep doing this. And don't play casuals. Don't play ranked. Just practice in the lab. Develop those skills. And then go into a casual match. Or if you're brave, go to ranked. Sorry, guys. And then put what you've learned into practice. It won't come straight away, because obviously in a match, you're going to go back to bad habits. You're going to go back to the things that you feel comfortable with. But try and slowly push them into your gameplay. Trust me, I've seen this with myself. It will work. You will get better as a player, because you'll get more comfortable pushing that tech, pushing that information into your gameplay. Then you'll realise I'm anti-airing better. I'm doing this better. I'm doing that better. Something I should mention as well. Because you are in gold, because you're in bronze, you're in silver. Even like gold players, they suffer with a lot of everything I've said. Even better players suffer with it. I mentioned platinum players not anti-airing. One thing, guys, please practice this. Please practice. This will help you so much. Go to random guard. Sorry, you put guard to random. Everything else normal. Where you're jumping in. Sorry, you're jumping with 2 buttons or 3 buttons mainly. You're jumping with heavy punch. You're jumping with heavy kick. Or you go for the cross up. Learn to confirm this. This will help you so much. So after a jump in, do back medium punch. This is a hit confirm. And what you want to do is if the air attack lands, if this lands, after back medium punch, go for heavy punch. Do that. Only if the air attack lands. Where it's blocked, stop there. Don't go any further than that. If the attack in the air lands, you've got ample time to hit heavy punch. Do that. Do it now. That's the first hit confirm I want you to learn. Do that. No bullshit. Do it 100 times, 200 times, do it 300 times. Even with a crouching medium punch. Do the exact same thing. Do it over and over again. I'll explain why now. Oops, I landed the wrong side there. I'm trying to get one that's blocked. Why is he blocking? There you go, stop there. Why I want you to do this is because a lot of people will land a jump in and do nothing afterwards. They'll land a jump in, so you're in Bronze League, people are jumping everywhere. You're skilled now, you understand what you're doing. Everyone else out there in Bronze doesn't know what they're doing. They're still doing like really stupid stuff, really just jumping in willy-nilly and throwing out unsafe moves. You're wise now, so you're ready to test the opponent in the air. You land a jump in. What do you do after you land a jump in? You don't know, do you? Because you don't know what to do. You're like, I've scored a jump in, I'll sweep. That makes sense. That's Street Fighter 2 tech. Yeah, it is Street Fighter 2 combos. Does do good damage. But what I want you to do is, I want you to jump in, and if it lands, practice that confirm. If the jump in hits, I know I'm repeating myself, I know I'm going over it again. You need to do this. As soon as that jumping attack lands, it's combo time. Now after you've done the second hit of Chin Buster, heavy kick Tatsu, it's a combo, it'll all link together. Look how much damage you scored now. You scored 27% damage off a jump in, and you've got better positioning, you're closer to the screen. Another jump in now. He's already getting near the corner anyway. Oki time. You see what's happening here? You're scoring big damage, you're getting a good knockdown, and you set up. So I've already told you this video. I mean, we've not covered Oki in detail, but the Oki after that, it's forward, light punch, and the confirm for that, which I showed you before, is light punch, back meaty punch. That's the Oki setup. That's the meaty confirm. So let's put this all together now. Turn block off, because you want to confirm it, but I just want to show you it all in one swift action. So confirmed it. Look at the stun bar. Look at the damage. Look where you are. You've just created massive amounts of damage because you've hit confirmed the jump heavy into back meaty punch. You got good damage because you've cancelled into heavy kick Tatsu. You know the Oki setup now from this video. Dash forward, stand light. That's the Oki setup versus quick rise. And you've confirmed the Oki, because the Oki is dash forward, light punch, and the confirm is light punch, back meaty punch. That's the confirm. So you've done two confirms there. You've used one Oki setup. You've confirmed that and done it again. And you've got advantageous positioning, you've got good damage, you've got the stun bar up. You're in a good situation now. Very important, because people, I was playing, I mean, I don't mean to, I'm not going to shout out names of people I played, but it's people I played that are much higher rank Kens, and I see them potentially like open up the opponent for good damage, and they don't follow up right. They're going, I think they're thinking about too many things, too many combos, too many setups. Keep it simple. That's a simple confirm off a jump in that will score you good damage. It works for the cross up as well. So that's the cross up. You can see exact same situation. Jumping medium kick. You get the exact same situation. It's the same confirm. If that doesn't land in the air, you go no further than that. If that hits, ample time to confirm it. So practice that. That will help you a lot in bronze and silver sort of league to confirm it. What that's rolled onto now is combos. So combos are important. Optimized combos are very important, but keep it simple early on. Ken has some crazy combos. It depends on the meter. It depends on V trigger. Keep it simple. That's my word of advice. If you score a jump in, stick to Chin Buster, heavy Tatsu. Doesn't matter if it's boring, doesn't matter if it's the same old thing. It's going to give you good positioning, it's going to give you good Oki, it's going to give you good damage. Keep it simple. You've got one bar of EX, so now what you got, your options can change. You could do that. Don't go for EXTP because it gives you less damage. Damage 280. 1 bar meter. Get that extra bit of damage and get them close to the corner. 2 bars of meter. Don't over confuse it. Stick to your no bar combo, stick to your 1 bar combos. We all know as well, for stun for example, that's Ken's go-to stun combo. Don't try and do too many combos. Don't try and be flashy. If you activate V trigger, so when you activate V trigger, that's very similar topic altogether. Stick to 1 activation combo and hit. Don't try and do 10 different combos like you have them in your brain. Keep it simple. And what you'll do is you'll become accustomed to that combo. You'll get good damage off of it because you'll be ready to do it, and you'll get good damage because you know it's a good combo you've gone for. So you've got your jumping combo, very basic. Don't do this because if you're out of range, which I'll show you now, the back meaty punch will whiff. I have this problem. I always go for to jump heavy, back light punch to back meaty punch. Keep it simple like that. So that's your jump in. So for V trigger, once you get V trigger active, there's many Ken players in bronze that I'll see will activate raw. Don't do that. It's an absolute waste and it's punishable. What you want to do is you want to activate off of certain buttons. So remember the buttons I mentioned, neutral. The ones you want to activate off of: stand, meaty punch, crouch and meaty punch, stand, heavy kick. The reason why you want to activate off those buttons is because on block you have advantage. I'll show you that in a second. And on hit you can combo after them. So watch this. So that combos on hit. Combos on hit. Combos on hit. Now the most damaging follow-up off of stand meaty punch, crouch meaty punch, stand heavy kick is crouching heavy punch, like it Tatsu, heavy punch DP. That works for all of them, so I'll show you that now. The very basic follow-up after V-Trigger activation on hit of those 3 buttons. Oops. The same follow-up. Stand heavy kick. Same follow-up. Does good damage, all combos. Just be careful of crouching medium punch because you're too late, it won't combo. You've got to get it exactly on. I would say for a beginner Ken on activation, if you get stand medium punch, crouch your medium punch, stand heavy kick on hit, what I would say is if you activate on them, go for chin buster. Just autopilot chin buster. If you've got no meter, oops, just go for that. If you've got meter, trying to keep it simple here. Just go for that. Just keep it simple for now. If you're a bit of a better player and you want more damage, then yeah, for no meter, go for that. 1 bar of meter, go for Meaty Tatsu, EXCP. There's a lot more damage. 1 bar of meter, crouching heavy punch, Meaty Tatsu, EXTP. And if you've got CA, what you'd probably want to go for is, keep it simple, cancel the DP into CA. Like that. You can, I don't want to throw in too much here to overwhelm you, but what I'm saying is stick to certain combos. So have a no meter follow up. The no meter follow up is crouching heavy punch, like your Tatsu, heavy punch DP. The 1 bar of meter follow up is crouching heavy punch, Meaty Tatsu, EXDP. You could even do crouching heavy punch, like your Tatsu, EX Tatsu. That's pretty good as well. It's very similar to the no bar follow up. And CA, yeah, where you got 2, but you got 3 bars. Yeah, you know what? Stick to that for now. I'd say do crouching heavy punch, like your Tatsu, heavy punch DP, no meter. Crouching heavy punch, like your Tatsu, EX Tatsu, 1 bar meter. And for 3 bars, 2 bar there's not really much. It's not worth using 2 bar. You don't get much damage for it. For 3 bar, crouching heavy punch, like kick Tatsu, heavy punch DP, cancel CA. So what I did there was I allowed, you can get 3 hits off the DP before you cancel the CA to make it optimal, but even just get 1 hit of the DP and CA, it's better than nothing. Yeah, it's 3 hits. That should land you. But even if you just get this, that's fine. It's better than nothing. On block, V trigger activation. So if I set guard all recovery actions, I think that was stand like it, was it, on the 5? So watch what happens now. I'm gonna jab. My jab is beating his. No, I'll stand light kick. I'll stand light kick. I'll do the same button as him. That's weird. My stand light kick is counter hitting his stand light kick. It's counter hitting. The reason why it's counter hitting is because he's pressing a button. Most people, after Ken cancels a normal into V trigger, will expect a grab, or they'll press buttons. I have a bad habit of pressing buttons after Ken activates, and I shouldn't do it. I only noticed it recently. You have the advantage. You have plus frames after when this happens, unlike the V skill cancel. You can use confirms. You can use confirms because this is a frame trap. So what happens is when they're baited the pressing buttons, and by them pressing buttons, you get the advantage because you can set up a confirm. Oops, it's bad confirm. There you go. I force them to press a button, hence the counter hit. Look now, it's counter hit. They're pressing a button, and I'm because Ken launches forward. You're at a range where you can set up all kinds of confirms. That's out of range. That ain't gonna work. There you go, another one. I wouldn't really go for crouching medium punch. I'd go for stand light punch, back medium punch. That's a better one because that's quicker. That's 4 frame. That's 6 frame startup. So on block, you have the advantage. Unless the blue Ken wake up DPs, EXDPs, you have advantage. So use that to your advantage. The frames you have advantage. Same with stand heavy kick. Works the same way. Just have the confirm ready. There's the confirm. That's the confirm. I press stand heavy punch. So I press heavy punch afterwards because I confirmed it. You get combo as well. So V trigger on block. Use V trigger activation. Use stand medium punch, crouching medium punch, stand heavy kick, and activate. If it's blocked, don't worry. You have advantage. Set up the frame trap. If it's hit, go for the follow up that I showed you earlier on. That's V trigger. That's the best way you can use V trigger early on. And if you use V trigger in that manner, that will carry over till you're gold, until you're platinum. Because I still activate in that style now. So good. What I'll do now is, as soon as I have V trigger, I'll try and catch one of their buttons. I'll counter hit their button, get the hit, I'll activate, and I'll get a combo off of it. And you can score some nasty. You get some good combos. You can get some resets. You can get 50-50s. Once you're in V trigger as Ken, it's really cool. But 50-50s and resets, well, not so much resets, 50-50s, I'll cover in a completely different video. That's a bit more advanced. Frame trap. So yeah, frame trap is where, that's a frame trap. You can't really do much with it, but the opponent is pressing a button in between my buttons. You're trapping the opponent into pressing a button in between 2 of your buttons. That's a frame trap. So a skilled Ken player can actually confirm off that frame trap into the second hit of chin buster, because they want the opponents that mash buttons will get hit by frame traps all day long. Not something I don't actively use frame traps unless I activate. My favourite frame trap is this. That's my favourite one. So yeah, I don't really use frame traps. Ken doesn't really have good frame traps in neutral. Probably his best one would be that. Yeah, and that's difficult to confirm. A raw back medium punch is very difficult to confirm. So yeah, he doesn't really have the best frame traps. So don't worry about frame traps for now too much. The only other thing I'm going to cover in this video, guys, is the DP. So Ken has 4 Dragon Punches. We spoke about Light Punch DP. Light Punch DP beats grabs. So if someone grabs, or someone command grabs, a Light Punch DP will beat that. If you're fighting a Laura, if you want to risk like doing a DP, if you want to risk being crush countered, throw out the DP, and that'll beat the grabs. Medium Punch DP is your anti-air, so that will beat jump-ins. That's the one you need to use for jump-ins, but you need to land it, not because they've broken DPs in season 2. You need to land it on the 3rd to, let me check the frame. I think it's a 3rd to 6th or 3rd to 7th frame. Let's have a look. So that's very hard to time. That's why often Medium Punch DP trades with an air attack. But they're going to fix that in the up and coming patch. Dragon Punch, Medium Punch, Dragon Punch. So it has invincible frames between animations 3 to 6. So that's your anti-air. If you want a Dragon Punch anti-air, for now, stick to what I mentioned earlier on. EXDP, that's your best anti-air. That has much more invincible frames. It'll beat grabs, it'll beat anti-airs, it'll beat jump-ins. Heavy Punch DP is not an anti-air. Do not use Heavy Punch DP as a late anti-air. It's great for an early anti-air. If the opponent jumps in the air and you anticipate it, you want to catch him mid-flight, great. You'll get a tiny bit of damage, but don't use that to anti-air jump-ins on the way down. Also, do not use Heavy Punch DP as a wake-up DP. It doesn't work as a wake-up DP. Medium Punch DP, do not use Medium Punch DP as a wake-up DP. Only use EXDP as a wake-up DP, or use Light Punch DP to beat grabs. Light Punch DP will not beat normals, not meaties on your opponent's meaties. Only EXDP will beat meaties. That will beat grabs, Light Punch DP, and EXDP will beat grabs. But beware of the crush counter. That's why DPs. I don't really tend to do it too much in like ranked games. EXDP, because you're put in a counter hit state, a free counter hit state, that's why you get crush counters. The difference between crush counters and counters, crush counter is just a stylish name they're giving to the counter. What the crush counter does is it just gives you different animations. If I turn guard all off, it does the same, so that does 20% more damage, counter hit. That's normally 30, or I'm getting 6 damage more because it's 20% more. The same for crush counter buttons. Just because it's a crush counter doesn't mean there's more damage than a normal counter. It does the same extra damage, 20%, but you get a special animation. The animation, it's just there to look cool, and it gives you a cue to follow up. So don't assume crush counters do massive amounts more damage. It's still 20%, but they open up greater combo potential because you have a lot of time to recognise the counter hit, and you have, so basically stand heavy punch, V skill, that Medium Punch doesn't combo unless that's a counter hit, unless it's a crush counter. In that situation it will combo. Turn counter hit off. See, that doesn't combo now. So that's all crush counter is. Not every special move, so Nash's his EX wake up scythe, that doesn't put Nash into a counter hit state. That's why you can't crush counter a Nash after his wake up scythe. And the reason why it doesn't carry a crush counter state is because Nash's EX scythe doesn't have invincible frames. It doesn't have any invincibility. A Meaty will beat Nash's anti-air EX scythe. Is it his scythe? Or his moon? Oh, yeah, it's his scythe, yeah. It's the one where he goes up in the air twice. That's why you can't crush counter Nash. You get a punish off it. You'll get, you can probably get crouching, heavy punch, heavy kick tatsu off it, non-crush counter. But you won't get a crush counter. DPs have invincible frames, and that's the reason why they get crush countered. So that explains why some people say, oh, that's not fair. How come I didn't get a crush counter because they did that move? It's because certain moves don't carry crush counter states in recovery. So a fireball in recovery, that's blocked, and you punish it with stand, crouching heavy punch, for example. You won't get a crush counter, you'll get a normal hit because the fireball doesn't carry counter hit recovery frames. It just has recovery frames which can be punished, but you're not in a counter hit state, if that makes sense. So choose your DPs wisely as well. the situations for them all. Meaty punch DP will be improved in the patch because they're adding complete invincibility. I think frames 1 to 6, 1 to 7 versus air attacks. So even if you hit the DP on the first frames 1 on 2, you won't trade with the air attack after the patch because it's invincible during frames 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus air attacks. But that doesn't apply to ground attacks. If the opponent goes for a meaty, crouch and meaty punch, and you wake up meaty punch DP, you will trade or you will lose that exchange because you're not invincible versus ground attacks. If you want to beat meaty attacks, wake up. If you want to beat Oki meaty, you've got to do XCP because that beats everything. Again, like I said to you, that only doesn't beat block. If that's blocked, you're in trouble. So guys, it's a lot of information. I mean, if you're really dedicated, I would probably advise, if you can stand the sound of my voice, to watch this again and just make notes as I'm talking through. Pause the video and make notes of the things that stand out to you, and you think, okay, yeah, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that. Go to the lab and practice and practice. As I said to you, start with this. Start with that confirm. That's a great starting point because it's going to score you big damage, good positioning, and it will help you. We've already covered a really basic Oki setup. Flash forward jab. Your Oki. If they're back rise, I'll just show you the difference. So now, flash forward punch doesn't work. You've got to go for something different now. There you go. Flash forward. Is he waking up and pressing buttons? No, it's because count hit's on. But yeah, your Oki changes for back rise. It's all dash forward. Stand heavy punch. That's your Oki there. So yeah, practice all these things. Do one thing at a time. Take your time. Don't rush it. Move on to the next one. Once you feel you've mastered it, move on, move on, and move on. And trust me, if you do what I've suggested in this video, solid for a month, and you eventually cover all the topics and you're comfortable, you will level up so fast you won't believe your eyes. You'll level up so quick. But it's dedication, it's time, it's practice, and you've got to have good control of your character. If you're using a pad you don't like, you need to try and test other pads. If you can test a pad before buying it, try to do that. Lend your friends pads. Maybe at a local event, if you go to a local event, someone's got a certain pad. If they don't mind, and if you know the person, of course, maybe give it a little trial run. I use the Hori pad, 6-button pad. I bought the Mad Catz pad, but it's not. I don't think it's for me. I really like the Hori pad. It's what I'm used to. I'm comfortable with it. I'm most comfortable with my execution with this pad. If your execution is no good, you need to go in the lab and you need to practice your execution. Mashing buttons doesn't work. You need to time things correctly. You know, you need to be aware of the strings. That was an input error. There you go. 2 input errors back to back purely because I'm talking and I wasn't holding the pad properly. If you watch now, because I'm concentrating, the inputs are much better. So you've got to practice all these things, guys. A lot to learn, and once you master every video, you will be a much better player. But the training does not stop there, because then you need to learn the matchups, then you need to learn opponent frame data, then you need to learn Ken setups, then you need to learn opponent setups, how you deal with their setups. Then you've got to get better reactions, reads. You know, it never ends. It's, you know, counter tactics versus other opponents' tactics. It's difficult. It's very, very difficult. But this is the fundamentals you need to pick up on to get better. So I was aiming this more at a general sort of, you know, get better at Street Fighter video, but it has turned into a sort of a get better specifically with Ken. But all the information in this guide can help any character, any player get better at the game. So guys, I've done this, just a recap, I've done this because a lot of people are coming to me asking for help. This is the video I'm going to give you guys now. If anyone asks me for help, I'll give you advice, I'll give you loads of advice, but I'll say, I'm going to refer you to this video and I'm going to say, learn this, practice this stuff inside out, let it be a big part of your training regime. Watch the videos specialised on the topic I've talked about, so Oki, meaties, confirms. Watch the videos, understand what people are saying, just absorb the information and do it, practice it, go over it and over, and you will get better as a player. Trust me, you will. If you don't dedicate the time, if you don't understand the concepts, then you need to do those things. Depends how serious you are about the game. If you don't want to get serious about the game, if you're just casual, don't worry about this crap, just play it and enjoy it. But if you want to get better, if you want to level up, these are the key things you have to do to get better. So I really hope, guys, that's been helpful for you. It's the ultimate Ken beginner's guide, this pretty much. So absorb it slowly, don't try and digest it all in one go. Practice slowly, take it chunk by chunk, and if you do it in the correct manner, you'll have a really good foundation. You'll have a very, very good Ken. So good luck, guys. I know you can all do it. Just take it easy and take it slow. Don't get stressed out with it as well. Just let it come with time. I spent 6 months, 5 months in bronze. I couldn't believe it. My friends are in gold and I was lagging behind. And the shoe's on the other foot now because I've invested a lot of time. Not so much of a late, but because I invested a lot of time a couple of months back to get better as Ken. I'm sort of like, in my little group, one of the best players in the group. And it's pretty impressive where I came from. Like I said, a really scrubby bronze player that I didn't understand the game. I put time to understand it, and it's served me well. So yeah, guys, I'm really sorry it's a long video, but I really hope it's been useful. Good luck, as I said. Good luck, all the best, and yeah, don't be shy to ask me questions. And if you're doing this stuff and you're getting stuck, just message me on YouTube. My Twitter is @_rushg. And you can add me on PSN. I don't mind that as well. It's fine, and I'll give you a hand. Try and get you to the level you want to be at. So yeah, I'll cut it there, guys. Hope that's been useful. Shall catch you in the next video. Take it easy.